time for another coffee with Kilroy, or what I sometimes call beverage in a book. I'm enjoying some coffee. Well, that is up to you, but I hope you're enjoying it. Today's book is Long Range Recon Patrol, a solitaire wargame from none other than Mike Lambo. Yes, I have covered a lot of Mike Lambo wargame books over the last year and a half, 2 years maybe now. I mean, it's been quite some time since Mr. Lambo has started pumping these out, and I'll put a link to what I've covered previously in the description below. But this one kind of caught me by surprise because I've been focusing on other things, busy with work and life, and I missed this one. So I just picked this one up, and I think it's relatively new onto the market. I think I got this from Amazon, where I've gotten a lot of his, or obtained a lot of his wargame books. But I kind of, so I don't know how long this has been out, but I kind of missed it. But this is Long Range Recon Patrol. I'm hazarding a guess, but by seeing the VC there, this has got to be about Vietnam. So let's take a look at the back. Yes! Western forces in Vietnam soon realized that traditional military strategies and tactics would not win the war. Jungle-based guerrilla warfare required a different approach. Part of the tactical revision involved using smaller teams of men going deep into the enemy territory. Intelligence gathering was extremely important in Vietnam. Development of Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol followed. LRRPs, pronounced Lurps, usually consisted of around 6 men. They worked closely as a team, were heavily armed, and generally did whatever was necessary to get the job done. Their aim was to remain undetected if possible, working deep behind enemy lines, as well as reconnaissance. They carried out a variety of mission types. In this game, you will control a LRRP as they are dropped in the jungle, carry out their mission orders, and then proceed to the extraction zone. So this is kind of cool. This isn't your typical Lambo hex encounter recreating a battle or a series of battles. This is more of a mission based, and he's done a few of those. He's got at least, I think, at least one, if not two, maybe more games that are kind of mission based. He has one about hostages, and I think there was another one out there too. Again, if I pulled all my books up, I could have showed it to you, but I was lazy this morning and just had enough time to get my coffee. But if you look in the description down below, you'll see which one of the games I'm probably talking about here. So this is going to be Vietnam hex encounter, and as with all Lambo books, the original Lambo books were designed to kind of write in the book, but over time, the following of Lambo, so to speak, or Lambo followers, what are they called? The Lambs? Are we the Lambs? Anyway, have decided to do it yourself with the different components, making counters, maybe even mounting the maps, or laminating stuff so that you could ride and race, or even using miniatures. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play Lambo's games, and in fact, to the point where he has offered up example calendars or stuff that you might want to use. Anyway, so enough of all that. Let's get in and see what's in this book. Long Range Recon Patrol, a solitaire war game by Mike Lambo, 2023. So this is relatively new. Let's see here. Here's your contents, background, how the book works. He always has a section about how do you use this book. There could be some do-it-yourself, depends on how much you want to modify the components. But you have your rules. You've got the objective, mission maps, setting up the game, key concept, strength, game phases, and then you have, which are 7 phases, and then there are 10 missions, and then a campaign record sheet, and then, as I said, the suggested counters right down below here. Okay, you can also adjust the difficulty. That's the neat thing about these games. If you're finding it too hard or too easy, you can. He's got rules for kind of ratcheting it up or down to meet your desires. This is 6 men on average, probably. So this is definitely small unit tactical type games. So I'll put it in my SIT playlist, as well as my war game playlist, as well as my Lambo playlist, as well as my game book playlist. Yes, this is going to be in a lot of book playlists. Oh, it'll be in Vietnam too. So here's an introduction, how the book works, rules. You've got a terrain features because there's going to be maps, and basically what happens in these books, there's like a built-in AI. And typically what you see is you'll see a map on one side that's the playing area where you either put your components or you can mark stuff up. And then on the left-hand side, there's usually the AI. You know, what are your orders or actions that you can do, but also what the enemy does or what it reveals. And so there'll be a built-in AI. And that's what these rules really talk about is uncovering that AI. So here's setting up the game. Here's an example of the map here. So with such a small unit, this is really going to be, kind of a different feel than some of his other games, which are really a lot of his games, not all, but a lot of his games kind of go to recreating battles. So it's really a war game in a book, what you might find in a box war game, but you're finding it in a book with a built-in AI. So it's a solitaire game. However, this one might be a little bit more of a not really exploration, but kind of an exploration. Looks like there's probably going to be, you're not going to know where the enemy's at or what they're doing, and encountering that as you go along. So that's going to be kind of interesting. And that really fits nicely into a solitaire game, or a game book for that matter. I don't want to spend too much time on these pages because you need to buy the book to spend time in here, but this is going all over the different phases. And as we saw there at the beginning, there are 7 phases. So you're going to have village phase, enemy phase, unpinned, alert, NVA, and VC, enemy phase, pinned, alert, NVA, and VC, enemy phase, unalert, NVA, VC, and the question marks. So that's probably some of your hidden encounters there. End of turn event phase, and then end of turn phase. So there you have it. So going to be a lot of charts that are tied to these different phases here as well. And here's an example of play here, or at least an example of some of the phases here. More rules, and here's the campaign. So you might be able to link some of these together. And it looks like there's some charts on Board Game Geek that he's mentioned out here. And this, I'll just start with this one, but here's an example of a mission. So you've got your play area over here. This is where you're going to be keeping track of your stuff and then moving into the jungle to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Here's the objective is extract from the EZ with no unrevealed question marks remaining. So you've got to encounter all the question marks and then get to the EZ. Here are the different actions that you can do. Fast move, cautious, recon, attack, overwatch, cover, extract, airstrike, heal, claymore, fill water, overwhelm. And then these are some of the things that are going to be the enemy's going to be able to do. Enemy phase, and there's some civilians going on here. Oh, that's down here at the bottom of that. And then end of turn events here. So you got all kind of your phases here. So there'll be some referring to the rules to the first few plays of this, but once you get through that, a lot of the play is right in this area, and it's easy to do. So there's going to be several missions. I think there's like 10 missions. So again, I don't want to spoil it for you, but because this is really the heart of the game, is the map and the AI, or the solitaire bot, or whatever you want to call it, the enemy. So there's 10 of those missions in there, and there's going to be some. Here's your campaign record sheet to keep track of how you did, and then some suggested counters that you might want to use for your game, or you can make up your own, or use minis, or whatever you want to do, cubes, whatever you want to do. There's always a couple of blank pages there, but there you have it. That is Long Range Recon Patrol. This looks interesting. I like this topic. There's not a ton of Vietnam war games out there, and there's even less solitaire-based ones. And this one looks like it really gets to a kind of a narrative feel. I mean, you're a small group of soldiers and trying to accomplish a mission, and you don't know what you're going to encounter. So I like the feel of that. I think his system might be well suited to this kind of gameplay. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. If you've played this, feel free to drop comments down below. If you played any of his other games or want to talk about those, feel free, drop comments down below. Always willing to hear you, or listen to you, or read you, whatever the case may be. Enjoy your coffee if it's in the morning. Hopefully you have time for another cup. If it's afternoon or evening when you're watching this, I hope you're having a good day and had a good day. and have some exciting plans for the evening. Maybe it's to play some Long Range Recon Patrol. Anyway, thanks all. Take care. Thanks for watching.